People called him Daktari, a well-deserved title, owing to his hard-earned diploma in pharmacy. Well-deserved, not accurately true, but still true technically. I mean, a doctor could be described as a person with the ability to examine specimen with seemingly or unseemingly abnormal dispositions, giving a diagnosis, hence a possible solution in form of medication if there existed an alteration in the normal functioning of body. A person who cures a disease in plain English, but let's not be carried away by what's not the problem and focus on what's the problem. Critical principle in storytelling. Conflict. Diploma, no. Trachoma, he wasn't sick. Wait, he was sick in the head. And not even his diploma could make him relate with diplomacy when he thought, or even guessed you were about to get personal with his personality issues, which he thought ought to be a personal issue, when you, as a good brother in the spirit of being your brother's keeper, tried to reason with him about his harmful habits. Drink responsibly. Excessive consumption of alcohol is harmful to your health. One for the road never killed any driving man. So a walking man like me can have as many depending on the size of his belly, pocket-wise and space-wise. And who am I to disagree? One for the road never killed any driving man, but the drunk driving man has killed very many sober walking people. What do you think will happen to that drunk walking Kalewa staggering by the side of the road? I'm not restricting you from enjoyment, brother, in any way. When you've got Uber and a designated driver to dispatch you off straight to your bed, explore. It's all yours. Who needs Uber when the pub's a stone throw away from home? Common sense, brother. I'll walk home. But brother, who will open the door? Mother sure studied diplomacy, but is never diplomatic in handling drunks. Even worse, people who tolerate drunks. Who needs a bed? I'll sleep on the floor outside the front door. It's as good as a bed when you're on meds. But brother, that's drug abuse. The prescriptions are as bad as the hard stuff. Look at me, man. Am I a psycho? I'm no psycho. I'm not in any way incapacitated. I'm just heavily sedated and maybe a little bit, just a little bit intoxicated. Daktari would make each of my questions sound like they were rhetorical. He seemed to have a solution to every problem posed unto him. Not a surprise considering his line of work, which is basically giving solutions to problems not asked verbally, but those suggested by body language. Hence my question. Aren't doctors able to read their own signs? For when his body started speaking in tongues that even I, and no brains in science, could make deductions out of, he, a master, seemed to be ignorant of it. Maybe deliberately, or maybe it was just me being paranoid, or maybe he'd realized just how intoxicated he was. Maybe he saw an end and was ready to make amends. Or maybe he was already dead in spirits, could no longer afford wine, so he grabs a beer, Guinness. The book of records he holds shows that when he was stout, he'd order, "Sign me to the Jameson." And while the bartender grants him his wish, he'd take a shot of a hunter's choice to see if it's only the famous grouse he could confidently bring down when he was sober. But that was then. Before then, when Kenya became his legend. Every morning to him wasn't just a new day, but another opportunity to conquer an empire. So pack after pack, he tops up trying to regain the glory of his former conqueror, Napoleon. Pure chemistry with such brands prove the theory of alchemy, locally speaking. Every brand can achieve the status of its superior in the price chart effect-wise with a constant mind. The only effort required is drinking until the desired effect is achieved. And that seemed to be Daktari's lifelong project, turning stone into gold. He was irreparable. And the only way to help was to pray. Pray that he'd keep enough flesh in him at least until the day he'd die. At least until the day we'd bury him, and die he did. Mysterious enough, he almost accurately foreshadowed his death with a loud quote. Why did the English just decide to use a phrase like, kick the bucket for death? A few days later, we find him dead, face submerged in a bucket full of beer. A very practical answer to his question. It's only a shame he wasn't there to witness it. He was a specimen. But in this case, kick the bucket doesn't apply. Promoted to glory by a cold bucket served perfectly does. And so we lacked words to describe his death. I mean, he was the one with the solutions, but now he was dead. And so his obituary read, in loving memory, we celebrate the life and death of our beloved brother whose star was yet to shine, though not gone too soon. We'll be dearly missed, most especially by the bartender, vividly remembered by family when need arises for a reference of self-destruction. Obituary. Charity. Come on stage.